Raja, am I audible? Dr. Raja, good morning.
Yes, sir, it is audible. Good morning, sir. It's audible, sir.
Okay.
Just the resource person about to join and waiting for him.
Okay.
Then we will start, sir.
Okay, okay. Madam Victoria has joined or not? Victoria, madam.
She is here only, sir.
Oh.
She is here only, sir.
Punabati.
I think three of we are here. Myself and Dr. Victoria and Dr. Sulmina. Three of we are here, sir.
Okay, okay. वो नौकरी डॉक्टर पटनायक का भेज दो.
Shall we start? I think the resource person has joined. We will start the program. Most respected Vice Chancellor of the Central Agricultural University, Anupam Misra sir, and then our respected Director of Instruction, Dr. E.S. Basanta Singh sir, PA of this IDP NAPI project, and the respected Nodal Officer, Professor B.N. Hazarika, Dean College of Horticulture and Forestry, and the resource person, Mr. Neeraj Singh, and dear participant, I welcome all of you for this our 26th online webinar. And we are conducting a lot of online webinars due to this pandemic. And there is a paradigm shift in production, and then there is a new innovative ideas in the marketing, and then new ideas in the value added products, and many changes, and we have to accept it because of the shifting in technologies, and then due to this pandemic, and the people started thinking in different ways. So this is a high time to think about. We have organized this webinar entitled "The Shifting Values and the New Innovations in Urban Farming During COVID-19 Pandemic." So on this occasion, I welcome all of you, and I also I would like to thank Organizing Secretary Dr. Victoria Devi, who took a keen interest in organizing such a programs, because we are covering this a lot of topics, and she will be introducing the technical session and elaborating about this technical program in details. All the dear participants make use of this very important training online webinar, and it will be more useful for you all. So once again, I welcome all of you for this training program. May I request now Dr. Victoria Devi, Organizing Assistant Professor, Agricultural Extension, to brief out this training our online webinar.
A very good morning to one of our most respected Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Anupam Mishra, and respected patron of the NAHE program, Dr. S. Basanta Singh, and then respected our Dean of the College, Dr. B.N. Hazarika, and respected co-chairman, Dr. P. Raza. Today, we are conducting the 20th webinar on the topic shifting values and new innovations in urban farming during COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has given us the example of how urban agriculture rises .
Speak now.
So, as we all know, the word immunity is the buzzword now, and everybody is concerned about their immunity. And then urban agriculture, if we start practicing from now on, it will support the society not only during the crisis, but for the long term in terms of our health, society, environment, and ecological value. The goal of this webinar is to impart how agriculture can contribute to support, how urban agriculture can support to contribute in the security of our food. And up to date, we have very new and speakers who now today in the first session we have Yunam Mirasila, a very innovative young innovator who has started the growing of hydroponics at home level, and again in the evening. Dr. Susil Kumar Sharma, scientist ICAR Manipur Center, he will help us guide how to grow different types of mushroom throughout this year, non-stop at our home level, and even we can start entrepreneurship at our own level. And tomorrow in the morning session, we have a very young dynamic farmers named Rahul Sharma from the microgreens Guwahati. He has started growing microgreens, which is a tender part of the plant, which has just sprouted, and it has got very nutritious high value. So I hope that everybody will learn how to grow urban agriculture at home level, so that it not only contribute and serve your family, but you can also serve the society at such kind of crisis. So I welcome every participants here from across the country, and I wish everybody a very fruitful learning. Thank you. Now I request our respected Dean of the College, Professor B.N. Hazarika, to give his welcome address to our participants and the speaker.
Okay, thank you very much. Am I audible, Victoria?
Yes, sir.
Audible.
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
So once again, good morning to everyone. Our most respected chief patron, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the prestigious Central Agricultural University, Dr. Anupam Mishra sir, the patron of this program, Dr. S. Basant Singh sir, our leader in this project, very dynamic Associate Nodal Officer, Dr. P. Raja, our very two organizing secretary, Dr. Victoria Devi and Dr. Surmina Devi, dynamic coordinator, Dr. Punawati Hisnam, and all the other esteemed resource person invited for this 26th webinar program under the IDP NAHIP on this very topic, shifting values and new innovations in urban farming during COVID-19 pandemic. As you know, COVID pandemic has given a lesson to go for some innovative methods of farming, and thereby we are trying to put the resource person of this line who is working in this direction towards the innovative ideas. And while searching this kind of innovative resource persons, our very important resource person who is the founder of the urban farm Manipur, Y. Neeraj Singh ji, has given his consent for giving us time. At the same time, Dr. Sushil Sharma, scientist ICR Manipur, also given us time. We are thankful to them. We are also highly thankful to Mr. Rahul Sharma ji, who has also working practically on the green microgreens in Guwahati. So we do welcome all these esteemed resource person for this 26th webinar program under the IDP NAHIP at College of Horticulture and Forestry. As you know, this is the 26th webinar we have conducted so far. And through their deliberations, I think all the viewers will be benefited in these new directions, and they will be able to get new ideas from the esteemed resource persons. So I on my own behalf and on behalf of the organizing team do welcome the esteemed resource persons for these 2 days webinar program on this very important topic. I hope all the viewers will be benefited upon it, and they will be getting new ideas from the esteemed resource person. I once again, on my own behalf and on behalf of the IDP team, as well as College of Agriculture, College of Horticulture, Krishi Vigyan Kendra, and MTTC VTC, all the institute are welcoming you to this webinar program. So once again, wish you good luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your addressing all the participants in midst of busy schedule, and the resource person also accepted. Thank you, sir, for organizing and motivating all of our staff, and for guiding all of us in this for organizing successfully in this shifting values and new innovation in urban farming during COVID-19. Thank you, sir, for all your support and this address on this topic. Thank you so much, sir. I request now the founder of Urban Farms Manipur, Mr. Yumnam Neeraj Singh. Before going further, I would like to read his biodata. So he's a founder, Urban Farms Manipur, a hydroponic based farming and training firm since June 2019. Worked as a junior conservation officer under the project CAMPA Sangai, Conservation Action Plan for Manipur, and brown-legged deer Sangai, and integrated approach at the Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun, India, during November 2017 to March 2019, and worked as a project assistant in the project titled Conservation Action Plan for Manipur, Brow-antlered Deer Sangai, and integrated approach at the Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun, India during May 2017 to November 2017. Worked as a field assistant under Wildlife Institute of India in the project titled Conservation Action Plan for Manipur, Brow-antlered Deer Sangai, and integrated approach at the Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun during December 2016 to May 2017. Worked as a lecturer at lovely professional universities from May 2015 and to May 2016. Now, I request, may I request Mr. Yumnam Neeraj Singh to take this platform and highlight what he is doing it and give a wonderful idea to the entrepreneurs, seekers, and the youths who are really want to do something and to do some innovative ideas and entrepreneurship. Now I hand over the platform to Mr. Yumnam Neeraj Singh, please.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, audible.
Okay. So, first of all, a very good morning to each and everyone, every participant. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Anupam Mishra, Honorable Vice Chancellor, CAU, Dr. S. Basanta Singh, Director of Instruction, CAU, and Dr. B.N. Hazarika, Dean and Nodal Officer, IDF NAEP. I would also like to thank Dr. P. Raja, Associate Nodal Officer, IDP NAEP, the Organizing Secretary, Dr. C.H. Victoria Devi, Assistant Professor, CAU, and I would also like to thank the Coordinator, Dr. Punavati Haisnam, Assistant Professor, CAU Pasigat, and lastly, I would like to thank Dr. N. Surmina Devi, Assistant Professor, CAU Pasigat, Co-Organizing Secretary, who invited me to share my work on hydroponic in this wonderful platform. So I would like to continue by sharing my slides. Is my slide visible? Can anyone reply?
Yeah, visible.
Okay.
Slide is visible. Can you click on the slideshow view?
It is being blocked by
slideshow view. You can click on slideshow view. Yeah, perfect.
So today I would like to share my experience, especially regarding hydroponic, how to scale up a hydroponic farm, from learning to scaling up a hydroponic farm. So hydroponic being a new technology, there's a lot of hype around hydroponic, and there are lots of new entrepreneurs or new enthusiasts who are coming in this farming technology, but somehow, somewhere, due to the lack of knowledge or due to the lack of expertise, there has been a big hurdle while scaling up a hydroponic farm. So today I would like to share my stories, my personal stories, and how I have scaled up, and the same thing, how one can apply. So first of all, I'm Yumnam Neeraj, I'm founder of Urban Farms Manipur. So I'm an entrepreneur with a keen interest in sustainable hydroponic and its potential to engage a larger section of the society. So my focus on sustainable hydroponics. So why sustainable hydroponics? So as we all know, hydroponic, there are some, in spite of many advantages, there are few challenges like, for example, high investment and lack of expertise, I should say. So with this point in view, I have been working in hydroponic since 2014 during my masters, and during those times it was a bit problematic. There was lots of challenges. So I have turned my interest into sustainable hydroponics, trying to make it feasible for any enthusiast who wants to venture into hydroponics. So first of all, uh, a brief description about hydroponic. So hydroponic is a farming technique where the plants are grown in water using a nutrient-based solution. Hydroponic is not a new technology. It has been there since ages, but it has been there since ages. Around 1930, it was his first published book by Dr. William Kratky, and then the course of hydroponic has been very, very long. It has taken around 100 years, nearly 200 years, to reach the stage where we are now. With the introduction of before around 1930, there were already books which was written on hydroponic, but the problem was that the equipment or the materials used were not feasible. So around 1970, with the introduction of plastic, the growing system material became widely accepted. Now, when it reached around 1990, that is where the environment concern, the climate change, the problems in agriculture started. Because before that, the Green Revolution was a main adoption, I should say, because as during those times around 1930, with the discovery of the plant nutrients and all, it was a more feasible option to apply those knowledge on soil cultivation. But however, with the increasing population, with the environment degradation, it has become it has become very important to adopt hydroponics. So why hydroponics? So by 2050, with the increasing population, the population is estimated to increase by 9.7 billion people. So in order to feed that 9.7 billion people, the food production need to be increased by 60%. So now how the food production will be increased? We have limited land resources, and in that land resources, 33% of the soil is moderately to highly degraded, says FAO. Now, in the agriculture sector, it consumes around 70% of all the water. The agriculture consumes around 70% of all the water. Now, if we want to increase this, the food production by 60%, we have to use more water. But the water withdrawal can increase by only 10%, says the FAO. And apart from that, we have a lot of environmental problems, degradation, climate change happening. So there has to be something. So we need to increase the food production, but how do we increase? The answer is technology. So technology is the answer. With the use of technology, the food production should be increased, not by using more resources, because there is limited resources. So what are the advantages offered by hydroponics? First of all, we don't require soil. So since we do not require soil, we can grow almost anywhere, any available space. You see now, right now, I'm talking from my rooftop farm. So we are utilizing the terrace. So likewise, you can imagine, like, every available space, balcony, wherever sunlight is available, even if there is no sunlight, one can grow using LED lights. So the urban agriculture has become a very important method if we want to increase the food production. So food production should come from every available space, and hydroponic is the technology which can make it achievable. So secondly, very less water. Hydroponic requires very less water compared to the farming in soil. It conserves around 80 to 90% water. So hydroponic has a huge potential, because in the previous slide we discussed that the water consumption can increase by just 10%. So in order to feed the population, we need to grow more food by using less land and less water. Thirdly, precision farming. So with precision farming in hydroponic, it is achievable because we are providing, only what the plant requires, not less, not more. So by providing precision farming, what happens is the plants, they grow perfectly with the optimum requirement. So when we achieve precision farming, the plants, they are healthy, they grow more faster. The plants, they spend less energy. Since the nutrients are provided directly to the roots, the plants spends less energy, uh, elongating their roots in the soil, searching for nutrients. So precision farming is also a very important uh, aspect in agriculture, especially. Uh, Fourthly, lower carbon footprint. Now, this this particular session has been focused on COVID-19. So I would also like to put some viewpoints regarding COVID-19 in my slide. So as of now, we have COVID-19 pandemic, and there's a lot of disruption in the market. The farmers are unable to reach their product here. So all those things, we can omit those in hydroponic farming. Plus, on top of that, the carbon footprint is very, very less. We do not consume much electricity, especially in a sustainable hydroponic. When we practice it in a sustainable way, the transportation is greatly reduced. So and agriculture mechanization, for example, we in hydroponic farming, we are not using any mechanization. There's no tilling of soil, there's no plowing. Once we set up the system, it runs over and over again 365 days a year. So so the carbon footprint is greatly reduced in hydroponic. Secondly, the labor input. As of now, in hydroponic, with hydroponic, like we do not require any weeding. We do not need to do any weeding. Then irrigation facility. The irrigation facility is directly provided itself in the pipe. No extra effort. Then no extra herbicide application, no extra fertilizer application, no plowing, no mulching, nothing. Once you set up the system, it runs again and again. So the labor input is very less. And especially, let's talk about like harvesting. So when you harvest, there's a lot of labor requirement in soil when you practice in soil cultivation. But in hydroponic, the plants, they are just grown in the water, so there is no attachment of the roots with the soil. So the labor requirement is greatly reduced. I myself am managing the farm. I've been running the farm continuously for 365 days for the last nearly 2 years, and it has been achievable. So if a person wants I really don't think that a person alone can grow around 1,500 plants every month for the whole year round without any other help. Secondly, more yield and all year round cultivation. So with hydroponic, we can have all year round cultivation. Even not even a week is being lost. So after a plant is harvested, we put another plant, and the cycle goes and continues on. Maybe we might even have a small break while cleaning the system. Apart from that, we actually don't need to stop the farm at all. So there is more yield. The cropping intensity is more because the plants, unlike the soil, the plants are not competing from one plant to another. There is less spacing because the nutrients are directly provided to the root, as mentioned. So there is more yield, more cropping intensity all year round cultivation. So these are some of the great advantages offered by hydroponic. So types of hydroponic growers. So how do one approach hydroponic farming? In today's presentation, I am explaining mostly about sustainable hydroponic, or how one can start. One can start from the ground level. I'm not going to explain about investing a huge amount of money and just starting a big farm. I'm not explaining about that. I'm explaining about my story, and I'm explaining about the ways where one can start. Invest, start small, take small steps, dream big. So that is my story. First of all, I would like to discuss about the type of hydroponic grower. We have the beginners. Second is the hobby grower. Third is the commercial. So first of all, the beginner stage, there are basic working models, basically just to study about how a hydroponic works. It requires very little or no investment all except for the nutrients. The stage and beginner, mostly we can use the wick system or the Kratky system. Next is the hobby grower. A hobby grower mainly grows for home consumption. This is the most important important phase, and where one should learn. I also call it as a learning phase. And the plants may be between 50 to 300 or 500 plants. Thirdly is the commercial unit. So one can have a commercial unit. So commercial unit is roughly divided into two. One is a small commercial unit, and another one is a big commercial unit. So if one wants to go to the crop production knowledge, if one wants to go to commercial farming, then he needs to have proper crop production knowledge. He needs to have a proper marketing. He needs to have more research. So from the story is all about shifting from hobby grower to commercial unit. Why? Because if we want to grow commercially, we need to have all the knowledge of the crop production, and this crop production knowledge is not just enough. We need self-discipline. We need to cultivate it, and it takes time, especially when we are growing plants. It takes time. So let's discuss them a little bit deeper. First is the wick system for the beginners. So how can one step out in hydroponic? So the first thing is being a beginner. Everyone, everywhere, someone has to start. Acquiring more knowledge is not enough. We have to put our knowledge into practice. Only then we are going to learn. So first of all, after acquiring knowledge, you have to venture off somewhere. So the first is the wick system. So in the wick system, the uptake of nutrient is through capillary force, either by the help of wick. So when I say wick is nothing but a cotton, not a thread, but it's a cotton wick made up of cotton. Especially you can see in the picture here, which are also used in lanterns, kerosene lanterns. So it's mostly it is for the beginners. It is a basic working model. It requires very little investment. The picture here, this is a wick system of urban farms Manipur. You can even build your own. So there are a little bit of technical aspect here. First of all, in wick system, one has to take care of the growing substrate. So since the nutrient is being supplied with by capillary force, the wick system sometimes the absorption of nutrient is a bit slow. So one has to choose a growing substrate which has high moisture retention. So what kind of moisture retention can we use? The most favorable is coco peat, which is cheaply available around. And also to make the wick system perform better, one can also incorporate the idea of the Kratky method of hydroponics. So what is a Kratky method? In Kratky method, we do not use wick system. So what it does is first the nutrient, or let's say the water level, it touches the root or it touches the growing substrate. So when it touches the growing substrate, the nutrient is provided to the roots, and the roots starts initiating its roots. So as the root initiates the plants, the water is being absorbed by the plant, and as the water level decreases, the roots also the length of the root also increases. So why is this method performed? Because normally in wick system, what happens is that if there is not much moisture provided to the growing substrate or the plant, the root tips or the early roots which are developed, they tend to dry out and die, which leads to the yellowing of the plant and wilting or slow growth reduction. So one can just use wick system by taking care of a growing substrate which has a high moisture retention. If you want to cross validate, or if you want more perfection, then you can also adopt the Kratky method by and one more thing is that while refilling, if you add water until the net cup or the plant, the plant will die of lack of oxygen. Why? Because when the roots are exposed to the air, the roots can absorb oxygen more properly. So this is the basic working model. It is very simple, and one can always step out and venture out with this weak system. However, a person will not achieve the full knowledge with this weak system or the Kratky method, because we need to learn how to control the hydroponic system and its all working on all its factors related to nutrient, and also you will not get the full knowledge. But as a beginner, this is the first step. You should venture out with very less investment. Second is the hobby grower. So mostly hydroponic enthusiasts, I should say, or youth who are willing to go for hydroponic farming, they usually come forward to this stage by skipping the beginner phase. No doubt, you can come to any phase. So I would like to explain how how a hobby grower should operate or should run his or her hydroponic system. So in hobby grower, you can grow around 50 to 500 plants. It is basically for home consumption. You can try out during this phase. You can try out a different hydroponic system, because as an enthusiast, venturing out in the hydroponic world, hydroponic offers a lot of different systems. So it is actually very exciting, and one can always have room to try out a different system. But the problem is that if we keep on making different systems, so actually you can see a slightly vertical. Actually, it is a system hydroponic. So one need to invest roughly around 10 to 15,000 per system. I should say it can be more, it can be less, but I'm just telling about an average. So if you keep on designing different systems, it will not end. Okay, it will not end. One should try, but there should be a limit. So I will be explaining that in my next slide. So this is a learning phase. So what are we going to learn? We are going to learn about the different factors which are affecting crop production and how we should learn to adjust it. The microclimatic condition, okay, the place where we are growing, because with as a hobby grower, people with a small system, people can place it in their balcony, in a terrace, anywhere near the window, anywhere. But we need to know about that particular spot where we are growing our plants. So learning phase. Knowledge without practice is useless. So even if you have so much knowledge by learning from Google or whatever, if you do not practice it, you will not validate your idea. So knowledge without practice is useless. And secondly, practice without knowledge is dangerous. So I request, or I suggest, my recommendation is that do not go out or do not venture into hydroponics without having the proper crop production in the name of business or in the name of just profit, because it is because we need to have knowledge. Wisdom is very important. If you want to start a venture, have patience, try to learn what is required in the business which we are going to venture. And with hydroponic, it's all about crop production. So we should have knowledge which is required for crop production. So hydroponic system, it's design, efficiency, and ease of operation. Like I said, this is the phase where hydroponic enthusiasts try out with different systems. So while trying out different system, the enthusiast or the person who is doing should know very well about the hydroponic system he or she is doing, according to crop he or she is choosing. What is the efficiency of the hydroponic system and its ease of operation. Efficiency will apply to like how much electricity is consuming, by spending this much amount of money, and the production of crop per unit area. Is it really efficient? For example, like I would say between Dutch bucket for growing tomatoes and NFT. So if one wants to grow tomato, he or she should use a Dutch bucket or a poly bag. But if someone is using Dutch bucket and the same method can be applied by using polybag. So you can learn about the efficiency. So, and the ease of operation. The ease of operation refers to the control of the pH, the nutrient management, and all whatever operation, harvesting, sowing. So all these things, factors needs to be considered while developing a hydroponic system or while making a hydroponic system. So it is actually important. Crop selection, climate and market. So in hydroponic, most of the time we prefer growing exotic vegetables. So why grow exotic vegetables? So the answer is that in hydroponic, we are looking for crops which can enable us to earn more profit. So we choose exotic veggies. So however, while choosing exotic veggies, one should look whether the particular crop is favorable in a particular environment, and thus it has a marketing potential. Do people know about this, or are we going to aware about the particular crop all over again? So actually, it is very required. You need to look around. What are the choices of the people, the climate? Thirdly, crop physiology. So since we are growing plants in hydroponic, we need to know about the physiology of the plant and what is the factor which are affecting it. So I would like to give some examples as I move on, especially the lights. So today, right now it's August. It's rainy season in the Northeast India, especially in Manipur, and today it's a bit cloudy, so I'm also sitting here. And it's favorable for me to sit here, but it's not favorable for the plants because during the rainy season, what happens is the light intensity is greatly reduced. So the light intensity is measured in lux, luminescence per square meter. So when there is light reduction or when there is a cloudiness, the plant does not perform well. So, and there will be etiolation in the plants. You will have crooked leaves, very thick leaves, drooping down. So, and excess temperature. One should try to maintain a proper temperature, like especially in the terrace, like in terrace, like since I'm growing in terrace, the relative humidity sometimes is very less because the water vapor, there is evaporation or there is moisture coming out from the soil, whereas in terrace there is no moisture, so relative humidity is very less. Likewise, same wise for temperature, the cement, it gets warmed up sometimes, very hot, and it might cross the average or the normal temperature which a plant require, and same goes for the water temperature or the nutrient solution. So when there is very high temperature and less humidity, sometimes we may see the calcium uptake problem in plants. So it is advisable that if you are growing in a terrace and even if the greenhouse is not controlled environment with fans, and so then during those times, I advise that we should not choose crops which are head forming, like say cabbage, napa cabbage, or even romaine lettuce, because during the head formation we can face the calcium uptake problem. Similarly, the nutrient strength. We should know about the particular crop. We should have specific knowledge about the crop. How does what kind of nutrient does the plant requires? What is the range? So you can search all this thing in Google, but sometimes it is better if we practice out in our specific climate in our area, because so that we may know. We may validate what is there in the Google. So nutrient strength may differ from place to place. If it is very hot area, then we should try providing less nutrients, because when it is very hot, plant tends to absorb more water, and along with more water, they might absorb more nutrients. So when they absorb more nutrients, we can have fertilizer burn in our plants. And during the cool weather, the plants absorb to plant tends to absorb less water, so a higher ppm might be beneficial. So one should try to adjust, and all this knowledge should be developed over time. And relative humidity, I was mentioning you about relative. If the relative humidity is more, you can have problem with pathogens like can say any fungal infection, or because with the high humidity. Next point is the seed and water source. So when we start growing, since we are growing exotic vegetables, we should source our seed properly. If it is not available locally, we can go from online, but it's not like 1 month I buy from Amazon, next month I buy from Flipkart. No, that will not work. We should try out different seeds or different seeds company, but we should try to fix a particular to a particular company, to a particular variety, because every month if we keep on trying on different variety, that is not feasible. So we should try to look out for a proper seed source, especially and water source. So in hydroponic, the plants are grown in water, so the water parameter should be very, very carefully considered. It is very important to know what kind of water we are using and its effect in the nutrient. Is there any problem with the uptake? Next, we have developed self-discipline and skill set. Sometimes, in spite of having a lot of knowledge, sometimes it is not knowledge which we require, and especially in gardening, we require self-discipline and skill set, because knowledge is not everything. If knowledge was everything, every gold medalist in agriculture, they would have a house, full of fruits, flowers blooming all around the year. All the person who knows about horticulture, agriculture doesn't have their plants blooming. It's about the self-discipline. It's about the passion. It's about caring for the plant. So sometimes it's not about the knowledge. So one should try to develop self-discipline, and this is something which is very, very important when it comes to farming or gardening. We know that you sow the seed and it will grow, but if you do not supply water in time, it's not going to grow. So one should try to develop the self-discipline as along with the knowledge and skill set. So this self-discipline in hydroponic would include monitoring of plants. How are my plants performing? Nutrient management, how I manage my nutrients, and then how I manage my nutrient, and the schedule of nutrient management. So especially scheduling and nutrient management, the best time to manage the nutrient is especially early in the evening or late at night, or early in the morning or in the evening or night. So we do not want to change the nutrient during the high activity of photosynthesis, when there is high rate of photosynthesis, when there is, or when the activity of plants are high. We do not want to change during the time, so we should consider changing it in the morning or evening. We should develop the self-discipline of sowing, about the plant sowing, when what we want to grow next, when should we start sowing, when to transplant. So all these things one should develop, and it takes time. However, the self-discipline is very much required if one wants to go venture in the hydroponic, because with hydroponic, as I was mentioning, we can grow 365 days a year. It has a high efficiency rate. So it is for words if we keep on saying high efficiency rate. When we incorporate, when we take that advantage, and when we utilize that, only the time we are going to improve that efficiency. Maintaining records. So maintaining record is actually very, very important during this particular learning phase, because in plants, it takes time. It's just like human beings. Human beings would take time to develop a habit, to change anything. It takes time. So especially even for plants, for example, you change the nutrient today, there is a nutrient deficiency, you change feed, it's not going to show tomorrow. It's not going to show day after. It might take 4 or 5 days. For example, in order to develop a nutrient deficiency, if I mismanage for 1 day or 2 days, on the 3rd or 4th day it might develop. So and then accordingly, same for the correction. It takes time. So like what we did on before 7 days, what we did the week earlier, we might not remember it. So sometimes, so it is actually very important to maintain the record. It's not for the purpose of not only for the purpose of papers or anything, but if we are going to do hydroponic farming, we should know what is affecting it. So how do we know what is affecting all the factors? By studying all the factors. So when we record all those factors, and if we study over time, you can just go through it and you can learn it. Okay, last month I did like this month. So maintaining a record is very essential, since it takes time. It is not a software, you install and press done. It's not like that. So next is focus on scalability of specific systems. So this is this particular phase. Even many of my trainees and even hydroponic enthusiasts who have already started with hydroponics and before taking trainings and all, one main problem I found out is that people, they keep on doing making hydroponic system. It is fun. There is lots of hydroponic system, vertical, DFT, raft system, NFT. So if we keep on doing different hydroponic system, we are going to spend money every time. Sometimes, the family might not support it. Sometimes you might not be able to afford it, every hydroponic system, but what is the use? We should try to focus one crop. We should try to focus on a particular system and study it thoroughly. No doubt it is okay to do hydroponic system, but it is not okay, and it is not okay to master I would say that like it is okay not to master in every hydroponic system. We should try a hydroponic system which we want, in preference with the crop which we want to grow, and start thinking about scalability. If I want to scale the system, okay, how can I modify the system? What is needed to improve its efficiency? So I repeat again, it is okay not to be a master of every hydroponic system. If you have a huge investment, you can hire people and invest your knowledge and let them do and study according. But here my presentation is all about how one can learn step by step. So actually, if you are funding personally your hydroponic, it's better that you stick to a system and try to scale it. So hydroponic system is design and management. So in hydroponic system, there are lots of hydroponic systems. So I was mentioning about trying to learn about its design properly, thoroughly. So on the left picture, you can see the bok choy. It was grown at urban farms, Manipur. On the lower picture, it was I took it out from internet. So in this, when you bought the picture, you can see that in the lower picture there is net cups. In the upper picture, the plants are grown without net cups. So you see, net cups, it also comes at a price like 7 rupees, 10 rupees. So imagine you grow around 1,500 plants. It is going to have some cost. So here in urban farms in Manipur, we have learned how to grow, or we have developed over time how to grow without net cups. Net cups are usually used for supporting the plants. It is also used in the raft system. But here we have developed over time how to grow without the net cups. So when we grow without the net cups, it comes with a lot of advantage. So first is that it can reduce the cost of the material, because net cup is also one important material, a component of a hydroponic system. So we are reducing a component completely. We are taking it out. So now, second thing is, when we grow without net cups, we can provide the customer along with the roots. So what is the difference between soil cultivation and hydroponic cultivation to a customer? It is the roots. With hydroponics, we are able to provide with the roots. So to the customer, to the new people, who doesn't have exposure or who have less knowledge, they are excited by seeing the roots, by seeing the new way of cultivation, and somehow it serves as a market opportunity, as a marketing opportunity, because we are able to show something new. So if one grows with net cup, you have to cut off the roots, because you have to keep the net cup along with you. You cannot give the net cups to the provide to the people, right? So the roots are not there. You have to trim off the roots. So that is one advantage. The second advantage is that when we provide the customer along with the roots, it increases its shelf life. The shelf life of the plant increases. So it's a double benefit, right? So one needs to, and this has been achieved by using NFT. Okay, so one needs to be very clear about the basics of NFT. So NFT is a hydroponic system, which stands for nutrient film technique. So when it says nutrient film technique, it means the nutrient is in the form of a film. Film stands for, or the other word of film would be a thin layer of nutrient. So thin layer of nutrient. So when the nutrient is running in a very thin layer, what it does is it provides the nutrient. At the same time, it provides space for the roots to breathe in oxygen. Okay, so how do we make it make it possible? So that is why hydroponic pipes or grow channels, mostly it comes in a rectangular shape. When it comes in a rectangular shape, the nutrients are able to run in a very thin film. And on the right picture, this is a picture of the same plant. Okay, so now I was talking about NFT, the nutrient film technique. So when we run the nutrient in a thin film, that means when we turn off the electricity, the nutrient the nutrient is going to completely come back to the tank. There is going to be there will be no more nutrients left in the growth channel, so which increases the chance of plant of root shock, or the wilting of plant, because especially when electricity somehow as of now in Manipur, electricity actually is very proper. There is not much load shedding, and even if there is, we every time have a backup power. But especially sometimes uh, during a very hot day, if we happen to miss the chance of that particular incident, if the electricity runs out, sometimes the plants, there is going to be no nutrients in the plants are going to dry out. So the sensitivity is very more. So for everything there is a positive and negative. Okay. So with NFT, with proper by applying the proper basic knowledge of NFT, we are able to grow without net cost. But at the same time, we can have this issue in case if the electricity runs out. So we need to be very careful. We need to understand the hydroponic system, its design. We need to learn about its management properly. So when we say NFT, they are actually hydroponic being a new technology. There are lots of pictures in Google or wherever. So sometimes there is also wrong information. Sometimes the information is also right. So I would say that knowledge will be validated only through practice. So try to validate the knowledge you have by practice. Secondly, pH, nutrient uptake, and water quality. So pH is actually a very main factor which we need to consider while growing hydroponically. So here in the pH, we have given a chart, the soil pH. So different nutrient elements are available at different pH. So that is why the range of hydroponic in the pH range of the range of pH in hydroponic is around 5.5 to 6.5. So when the pH swings between 5.5 to 6.5, the plants, they are able to touch or absorb all the nutrients. So it is okay to swing. So for that purpose, in high-tech farm, they also have automation where we can maintain the pH range. This same automation, it does not require much time, so we can do it. And on top of that, trying to learn this skill set means we are going to learn about the nutrient uptake instead of relying on automation. So it is okay to swing the pH so that the nutrients will be available, almost all the nutrients. So we should also know about the uptake. For example, here in the picture in the right, you can see this is a bok choy plant. You can see in the above picture there is a slight yellowing in the newer leaves, not in the older leaves, in the newer leaves. And in the below picture there is no yellowing. So this is due to the high pH. So when the pH is high, you can also refer to the chart that the uptake of iron or the availability of iron is reduced. The plants are unable to absorb iron. So iron being a immobile element, so its deficiency symptom is visible in the newer leaves. So likewise, we should try to know about the pH. So the vegetative stage of the plant can also impact the pH, because according to plant growth stage, the plant is going to absorb different nutrients. For example, like potassium in tomatoes during its fruiting stage. Likewise, the leafy greens, they absorb more nitrates. So this is going to affect the pH. So one should know that what kind of nutrients is being absorbed by plant during which vegetative stage, and how it can affect the pH. Now, water quality. Here on the picture on the left, you can see the ppm measurement of different water, especially rainwater, RO water, and tap water. So if you ask an expert on hydroponic, an expert will always suggest to run your hydroponic with RO, reverse osmosis water. The main reason for running with reverse osmosis water is the ppm is very low. When I say the ppm is very low, ppm is a measurement of total dissolved solid, how much ions are present in the, it measures how the ions present in the water, particular water. So RO water, the water is purified through reverse osmosis, so most of the ions has been removed. So and when most of the ions are removed, or when there is less iron, there is it doesn't create much problem during interaction with the nutrients, or I should say in simple words that there is no reaction with the nutrients which are provided in the water. So I also started with RO, as everything it was said in the books, it was RO, you should use RO. I started even using distilled water, and one can go for distilled water, but the problem is that if you buy distilled water from the surrounding workshop and all, shop and all, sometimes it is not distilled anymore. If you measure the pH, sometimes the pH ppm measurement will be very high. So I would suggest, as much as it says distilled, not to use distilled water. You can just use RO water, and if you can, the best is using rainwater, especially in the northeast region where there is not much atmospheric pollution. The rainwater, it has very low ppm. It is very much suitable. So we are also looking forward to harvest the rainwater and trying to use it for the entire year and harvest it in a very efficient way. The tap water. So actually, my story was that I have a RO at home, and I used to use RO water. So during my very early stage, I used to bring buckets of water from the kitchen to my farm during my stage of hobby growing. So the plants were doing very well when we supply with RO water, but then my backbone was hurting, carrying the water from the kitchen to up to the terrace every time. So I had to find my solution because before learning hydroponic, I would be having backbone problems. So in spite of the challenges, started using tap water. So when we use tap water, there are lots of challenges, but one can learn it. One can learn how to manage it. So managing it is the learning phase. Okay? So in tap water basically it's collected from the river and it's been purified. Uh, they use carbonates, calcium carbonates, fluoride, chlorine to kill off the microorganisms. So there are some impurities no doubt present. So even in tap water, the tap water measurement here is 75 ppm, and on an average, it ranges around 120 to 130. When it's rainy season, the river water is more, more muddy. So the water supply has also needed to add uh, more chemicals, okay, whatever it is to still to purify the water. So likewise, the ppm it might change, but most of the time it's around 75 to 130. So when we use this water during the just after using this water, we might not find much problem, but over the course we can face problem. So while using tap water, we should know that, for example, chlorine it can kill microorganisms, but at the same time at high dose it can affect the roots. At the same time, for example, carbonates. So there are carbonates present in the tap water. So what happens is like we need to learn how to manage the nutrient by studying the ppm. And also what happens is like the carbonates which are present in the tap water, they are larger molecules, and the carbonates or the calcium which we are supplying the nutrient, they are smaller molecules. So the larger molecules tend to bind the smaller molecules and make calcium which is unavailable to the plant. So how do we control it? So we can control like trying to change the nutrient uh, more early than what was done while using RO. So you have to learn all those management when it starts to develop that kind of problem, especially during the summer or is especially during the winter. So all those things you should need to learn step by step. Now, commercial grower. So this is the same picture. The farm I'm standing here, it was taken on August last year. So small commercial unit and big commercial unit, as said earlier, a small commercial unit can be around 3,000 plants. Big commercial unit, it can be 3,000 and above. So when we go commercially, the main important thing is we need to study about its marketing. We need to know where to find our customers. Since we are growing exotic veggies, we have to be we have to be a little cautious about it. So here we use social media. It's a very effective platform, and especially the youths, they are able to assess it. Social scalability. So first of all, in hydroponic, when we want to increase an hydroponic farm, we have to take into consideration about the people. Here on the lower picture, you can see a very big farm. So this is a farm from Indonesia, owned by a college graduate who just completed college graduate. His name is Fikriyas, from Indonesia, in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. So in Indonesia, the people are very much well aware about hydroponics. The plants which are grown in hydroponic, they are a bit costly, but people are very well aware of it, and the scalability of market is very big. People can scale it. So you cannot don't just dream about being having a big farm like this. First, try to aware the people around you. So he was also a person who had a small scale unit. with a bamboo greenhouse, growing with bamboo and all. But once you have the market scalability, then only then you can expand. Right now, even in India, we have lots of problems, like we are not growing palak. Instead of that, we are growing lettuce. But if the person doesn't, in the Indian diet, we don't have palak, and apart from that, metropolitan cities, uh, the commercialization of lettuce might take time. It will eventually, of course, because here, even the local surrounding, we can also see that lettuce, it was not there before, like 10 years ago. Same case for broccoli, but over time it increases, and the consumption rate also increase. But to achieve all these things a little faster, one should also, try to aware the people about it. So social scalability is very important. Technology should go hand in hand along with the people. The management practices, once you become a commercial grower, it's all about the management, how well you manage the farm. So if you don't learn about the management practices and you go straight up into commercial farming, then the cost of production in hydroponic, if you all know, it's a bit higher. That is why the price is also higher. So you can end up losing a lot of money. You need to have proper management practices, crop protection knowledge, because when we have commercial farming, sometimes the pest incident and the pest and insect attacks can be there. So you should be well aware about the crop protection knowledge, how and what we should apply. So coming to the management practices and crop protection. So you can see here, it's a general plant growth curve. So this is a sigmoid curve of plant growth. So how do we manage? So first of all, we have the establishment stage or the lag phase. So during this particular phase, the plants, they are small, so they need a very less space, and the nutrient requirement is also very less. So how can one make effective use of it? So in hydroponic, the efficiency or the crop intensity can be very high. So during this particular establishment stage, we have, like, a particular area for the young seedlings, where we provide them, the nutrition required for the younger plants. So it's just like human babies. The human babies, after they are born, we don't give them chicken curry. We give them Cerelac, lactogen, and over time it increases. So it just goes out, same thing for the plants. So when the plants are small, they require less space, they require less nutrients. So we utilize this properly. We have this, we call it Seedling Module, where we raise the seedlings. So from there, like, we provide the proper nutrition. After that, we shift it to the main system during this rapid growth phase. So if we sow the seeds in the system itself, then you see the establishment stage. During this establishment stage, it will be a wastage. The time consumed, or the particular time, especially it's around 15 days. For example, to reach a particular timing where we can transplant the plant, it takes around 15 days, provided that the person who is operating it knows well. Because if we do not do well, if we do not manage properly, it might take longer period. When it is a newbie, you might take around 20 days. But as you learn more and more, the average timing will be reduced to 15 days. So this 15 days, if you waste it by sowing the seeds in the main system, then the efficiency is very greatly reduced. So in hydroponic system, we transplant the plant when after reaching a particular phase, and the rapid growth phase or the exponential growth phase. So in the main system, we provide directly what the plant requires. So here the plant grows very fast. So the growing system is made. Yes. Can I continue with the slide?
Yes, you can continue. Please continue, Niras.
Okay. So during this exponential growth phase, we utilize the main growing system. where the plant grow very fast by utilizing the nutrients we are providing it, and we try to harvest it before it reaches the log phase, because we are providing nutrients, and the cost of production is also a bit high, so we don't want to spend the plants growing there. So in order to do that, we need to have a proper marketing facility. If not, the plants are just going to be there, so it might decrease our profit. So it's better that we have a proper market, we utilize all the stages of the plant perfectly. Regarding the prevention and eradication, especially regarding the crop protection, in hydroponic, we know that we are not using soil, so the soil-borne pathogen diseases and nematodes are greatly reduced. And with hydroponics, we usually prefer growing crops inside the inside the polyhouse or in a greenhouse. So the pest attack is greatly reduced, especially those flying ones. But however, there are still greenhouse pests, especially which are very problematic, especially like aphids, spider mites. So when there is pest infestation, we really need to take care about our seedlings. So the first thing is we need to really take care about our seedlings. Now, secondly, you must have also came across that in hydroponic we require very less pesticide. We all can grow without any pesticide, and yes, it is true, but it depends on the management. And sometimes, yes, we are we do not control when the especially when the insects and all the mites attack, and spider mites especially occur during the rainy season or during the spring. It will start from around April, May, when there is rainfall, when there is vegetative growth, and along with the wind, it can come inside. But during the winter, that problem is greatly reduced. So we should know when these insects are going to come. We can follow the crop rotation. For example, to decrease the aphids will not eat the lettuce. So if there is aphid infestation, you can have a crop rotation, or you can have intercropping with lettuce. But at the same time, spider mites. So spider mites is one insect which is a big problematic. It will feed on both lettuce and bok choy or mustard family. So you can install preventive measures. Some of the measures is like, since hydroponic, it's not grown in soil, it is grown in a growing channel. So after harvesting, if we properly clean the system, it will eliminate all the plant. So it is one effective way. This thing is not possible in soil, because you cannot clean, you cannot fumigate the soil every time. It is not for everyone. But in hydroponic, it is very easy, because we are growing in a grow channel. So all we have to do is clean the hydroponic system properly, install like a sticky trap, take care of the surrounding. We try to identify what kind of insects, its behavior. So mainly the prevention and eradication, and less on control measures. Since we are growing, we have limited time frame in the growing system. If we use that time frame, if we control it, or if we follow the preventive measures effectively, there's a very high chance. There is a very high chance, especially to grow without using any kind of pesticide, even organic pesticides. So scaling and outreach. So internet is the new age. Social media, it's one of the biggest platform which is easily accessible everyone from any corner of the world. So we should try to reach out. Social media is a very beneficial platform for any entrepreneur, because you don't need to spend much money. All you need to pay is the internet fees. Then you can have access to millions of people who are using the social media. Educate people about hydroponic and its growing trend across the world. So like I said, social scalability is very important. So we need to educate people about hydroponic and its growing trend. Mostly hydroponic is mostly associated, and people usually associate hydroponic with a very high investment, metropolitan city, developed countries, but actually it is not like that. There are lots of developing countries and Indonesia is one. Apart from that, Brazil, Argentina, they are also especially where people are starting to practice it in a very sustainable way, focusing more on commercialization and the skill set rather than just investing on high technologies. So we should also learn to educate the people that hydroponic is not only for developed countries, metropolitan cities. Anyone can adopt it. So here in this right picture, in spite of me knowing everything, like I was like asking to an Indonesian grower so that I could share to my audience. So I was asking, is hydroponic veggies costlier than soil grown in Indonesia? And the answer is yes, true, sir. The cost is quite high, but the quality of the veggies will pay off, and also the price of hydroponic vegetable is higher than the conventional way. So so this is the answer. And in the last months, been attending webinars. So I have found out from the speakers of Indonesia that in Indonesia, it's a developing country. Most of the people are farmers, but people know about hydroponic. People are very much well adapted to hydroponic because the social awareness. There's a lot of social awareness. People find it fun. People find it fun having hydroponic, growing plants hydroponically. They admire the technology, the sustainability of it, and a lot of youths are there. So the demand is very, very high. So the supply is less than the demand. So that is one, that is something which we should be very well aware of. So I would say that it is a little impractical when it looks to a social scalability that we try to establish. A very big farm which can produce like tons of lettuce in a month, but the people does not incorporate the food, the lettuce in their diet, or they have limited knowledge of hydroponic. So actually it is very important that we aware the people, and technology is something we should grow along with the people. Sustainable food production and conservation of natural resources, especially in the region of Northeast India. So with hydroponic, we have discussed about the advantage. Hydroponic is very advantageous with all this water conservation, soil and all. So in Northeast, I have specifically mentioned Northeast because this whole platform right now is based on the Northeast. So I would like to share like a little brief information about the Northeast Indian agriculture sector. In the Northeast Indian agriculture sector is mainly characterized by subsistence farming. So subsistence farming, people are producing only for their self consumption. So people they don't care much. So the people since the people are cultivating only for their only for consumption, people don't want to spend much money or anything, like whether it be technology, whether it be any input. People don't spend much. So that is why one of the main reason. Secondly is the shifting cultivation. In Northeast, shifting cultivation is generally practiced, and research has also proven again and again that shifting cultivation with deforestation is one of the worst factor leading to soil degradation. And in Northeast India, the shifting cultivation, the amount of time from one shifting to another, before it was around 10 years, but now due to the population, due to the increasing population, due to the demand of more vegetable or more produce, this shifting time has been greatly reduced. So at the end of the day, it is the farmers who are going to suffer. The more shifting cultivation or less reducing the duration means there is more deforestation. The soil are unable to regenerate, because every time the organic matter is removed, and it will lead to more water scarcity, which will impact the livelihood of the people who are doing the Zoom cultivation. At the same time, it is also impacting the people in the valley or anywhere, because because of the deforestation, all the water, there will be water scarcity, since the more deforestation means the roots are unable to hold more amount of water. And when it comes to deforestation, in the last 10 years, and the Forest Survey of India has recorded that the 70% of total deforestation in India outside the reserve areas is from Northeast India. So you can imagine like how much forest is being cut down in Northeast India, and at the same time, it is us who are going to suffer, the people. This is not just for the farmers, or this is as a whole. We all are going to suffer together. So it is a very high chance that it is a very high time that we try to to aware the people about all those environmental factors, and teach people how to incorporate hydroponic, since livelihood option is also a very important main factor. People are more dependent on the resources, so we can provide the knowledge of hydroponics, so it can improve the income generation. Lastly, educated people about nutrition and healthier diets. So we should also teach people about incorporating more leafy greens in their diet, the nutrition, and people have been more aware about the nutrition with the corona pandemic. We should teach people about the nutritious leafy green, which are cultivable in hydroponic, like kale, which has more calcium content than milk. So all these things we need to teach the people, and by teaching, by educating people, people are going to learn more. The potential, there is a lot of potential in the people, because the people are more practical these days. So, but if we aware, because if we don't aware them, if we don't educate them, we cannot just sell. We cannot sell the product if there is no market. First, we have to create the market. Introduction of culturally adaptable exotic veggies. So even if we introduce exotic veggies, we should try, the best chance or the best feasibility is trying to incorporate exotic vegetable which has a similar taste preference to the vegetable which are already being in the normal diet of the people. So training and motivation of youths. So these are pictures from the online and offline training which are conducted in urban farms, Manipur. So the role of mentors, especially the mentors and teacher. Here I would like to point out a story of mine. So here I am here speaking in this platform because of the knowledge of hydroponic. But I would say that this has been possible because in my life I have met a mentor. So this particular mentor, I would say my mentor, he did not give me he did not give me the knowledge of hydroponic, or he didn't guide me in hydroponic. So what he gave me was the freedom to pursue my research, okay, in hydroponic. No doubt, like I don't have a, it's not necessary for the paper that or the marks. He gave me the freedom, and I was really passionate about hydroponics. So sometimes what we require is not knowledge or information from teachers, because everyone is educated, especially the youth. We know how to they know how to use the new information, use new technology to gather more information. For student it is about how much he or she wants to learn, and for the teacher it's about giving the students or giving the youth a chance to take risk. So I request, there are lots of mentors and teachers here, so I request them, please give the students a chance to fail, but let them fail in a good way so that they can develop better in their life. So I'm here because my mentor gave me, he is not interested in hydroponic. He know that hydroponic is a future technology, is going to be of great importance, but he himself is not that much passionate. But he supports the idea of someone who wants to do something in life, no matter how big or small, no matter how great. Okay, so actually motivation is very much required. Sometimes it is not knowledge and information every time. So hydroponic requires skilled labor, and this skilled labor we can find it in the youth. So according to the report of UNICEF, in the next 30 to 40 years, United Nations UNICEF has stated that India will have the highest unemployment rate because of the lack of skill set. That is why the government of India has also introduced the national education policy. So educating skill set is very much required. So recently there was Olympics. So when there is Olympics, people expect the athletes to bring home a lot of medals. But in reality, during my school days, we just had one physical education class, which we let out to play something whatever he or she wants. So by having just one class in a whole week, we cannot expect to bring home a lot of medal. So all these things has to be incorporated. So right now we have national education policy, and and there can be a lot of hydroponic activities, aquaponic, biofloc. All these new technologies should be there to inspire the youth, to educate the youth. We should make the youth ready for tomorrow, because they are the ones. They are the ones who are going to provide more knowledge. Who was going to adopt all this technology. Employment generation. So last is overcoming stereotypes of farming by implementing technology. So as of now, like we all of us know, but somehow we keep it in ourselves. Like when it comes to in a society, the parents might tell that he or her daughter or son is studying MBBS, and the parents tell that they are going to become doctors. But the parents does not tell that my son or my daughter is studying agriculture, he's going to become a farmer, he's going to do this, he's going to grow a lot of soybean and produce tofu. No one tells like that. So we should ask this question, why? So there's a stereotype when one enters the farming sector. So it is mainly considered, or this main problem may be related to the low income generation. Not everyone has big land holdings. Many of the even teachers, even me myself, we don't have enough big land holdings. And then it's labor intensive. So how can we rectify all this thing? So the answer is technology, implementing technology. So as you all know, I'm here speaking from the middle of a farm without having a single dirt on my clothes. So with hydroponics, you can cultivate it properly. We do not need to get dirty. I'm also having an access of internet inside the farm. So hydroponics is going to change all this stereotype. So in order to do all these things, my personal opinion is we engage more youth, make farming more interesting, make farming more fun. So through this way, the youth, they are going to turn into agriculture sector. So the growing trend in hydroponic in Manipur. So there is even upcoming new farms. You can see the picture on the left. It's Gigo Farms Manipur, one of our training participants. So he participated in our training. He went through that hobby phase and he developed. He's initiating. He's running this hydroponic farm. It has been very fortunate, and I'm very happy I could help people. I have been helping, and I've been even after the training program, I have been guiding them to venture into hydroponic farming. And these are some of the pictures from Manipur. It is a bit slow, but steadily we are working towards it. COVID-19 and urban agriculture. So during the COVID-19, there has been a lot of market disruption. Especially the farmers are unable to reach the market. The market has been closed down. So our farm, it started just before COVID-19, and during the COVID-19, it has been running properly because we are able to being situated in an urban area. In any case, if there is an opening of lockdown, if there is delivery services if the delivery services are providable, we have the possibility. Urban farming has a possibility of utilizing all those chances. I should say all those opportunities. And also the main thing is we are able to provide fresh produce. So just after harvest, we are able to reach to the customer. And with COVID-19, people have been focusing more on nutrition and So it has been like there has been a great attraction toward hydroponic, wholesome foods, veggies, and nutritional vegetables. Mental, mental health. So during the COVID-19, when with all these things happening around outside, it can create a lot of mental problem. It can create stress in us, not being able to go out, because this is something which has never happened in our lifetime. So but with hydroponic, if we try to utilize this during this timing, work from home and all, to grow hydroponic. So with gardening, you can find that peace, that happiness, you know, invest the time in learning new skill. So COVID-19 and urban agriculture, this is something like which has a very close relation. It has come in such a perfect timing that it is a very high time. Any students who are working from home, any students who are learning from home, please utilize this time to learn the new skills. Next, we have a new innovation. So I'm sharing something. First of all, this picture is a paddy farm in a fish pond. Okay, so Li Meng, a college student from Southwest China, Chongqing municipality, achieved this. So the yield is I'm unable to share it because of my. So from a yield is around 5 kg, I think so, from 0.67 hectare. So here I'm trying to show this picture just to encourage especially the student to take up daring researches. This this was a video which was viral in social media like around 3-4 months ago. So I came to know about it from there. So you can see sometimes social media can give you information which a textbook cannot, and we should not limit our knowledge to textual knowledge. We should try to adapt more, because human beings has grown over the years by adapting the knowledge. So we should learn to adapt. We should not fix ourselves. We should not limit ourselves. Especially for the students, please try to if you are doing in research, please try to do some daring research which can change. So hydroponic is not limited only to growing in pipes or growing in greenhouse. Hydroponic is a method of cultivation. So you need to expand your knowledge. There are lots of scope. There are lots of advantage. There are lots of things which we can do by studying hydroponic, by knowing the concept of this kind of hydroponic farming. So one should not limit the knowledge to high tech, only growing inside polyhouse. This is something new, and I'm sure this kind of farming is well adapted with more research. It has a very, very huge scope. So I would say that success is walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. So if you have a passion, follow your passion, because first of all, you require that passion. Passion is something which is the #1 factor, because when you step into the entrepreneur world, it's all about by ourselves. No one is here to guide you. So, and we are going to face a lot of problems, but in spite of facing a lot of problems, what will make you happy is following your passion. If you're working for someone else, you don't have control over your passion. If you're not following your passion, it is going to be a burden. But if you are following your passion, that failure would be a knowledge. You would learn, you will try to improve because you love it. You want to excel in your passion, so you would learn that failure as a stepping stone for success. So success is all about having that passion and walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. And there will be no loss of enthusiasm when you are following your passion. So first of all, and having a specialized skill is also very important. Try to focus your skill. Now it's an information era. You can have information of each and everything, but no, it's not necessary to know or become an expert, like I said, even about hydroponic system. So even in our life, it is okay not to be expert in everything, but try to have a specialized skill where you can monetize it. Okay. Now, self-discipline and patience, especially with hydroponic farming, we are growing plants we need to have a lot of patience, especially in farming and gardening. And main thing, like I've said earlier, it is self-discipline and do not give up. Don't give up. Use your failure as a stepping stone. Secondly, you need to learn that skill set. You need to monetize your skill set. You use your skill set and expertise to help other people to solve problem. So that is how you're going to earn and become an entrepreneur, live life with a purpose. At the end of the day, it's all about purpose. What purpose you want to serve? For me, I want to serve more people with my knowledge of hydroponic. I want to have financial freedom. So everyone is special in their own way. Please find your passion. So you can find us on Instagram to see our gardening daily activity. This is our WhatsApp number. If you have any information, you can reach us out here. So thank you. I wish you all the success, especially the students.
Thank you so much, Mr. Neeraj Yunam, for your wonderful presentations. I hope that all the participants have been motivated, and even I myself, being the organizing secretary, I get to learn many new things from your part. When I'll be home, I will surely visit your farm. I am also very much interested. And yes, you have rightly pointed out that during this COVID-19 pandemic, when everybody is so much worried about mental health, if one can start growing like hydroponics or any types of urban agriculture at home, we will be having some peace of mind. And when we really start such kind of urban agriculture at home, and then when the seed sprouts and when they really grow, it will generate us the happy hormone in our body. So it is the best way of healing ourselves from the stress and other type of problems the pandemic has been creating. So I request the participants here, if you have any doubts or if you have any clarification, you can start you can ask him for your. Any participants who want to interact with Mr. Neeraj Yunam, we are very fortunate to have him here in this platform. You can ask your question, or you can type in the chat box also.
So I found some questions from chat box. One question is, why should we create market on lettuce? Can't we grow main day-to-day vegetable hydroponically with focus on side dishes or salad vegetable? Yes, we can grow. That is what I was explaining. First, we need to aware the people. So even if the price is high, there will be a particular time when the people accept, when people want to choose hydroponic vegetable over soil grown because of its superior quality. I have also given the example of how I even try to share by asking to an Indonesian grower. So it is all about social awareness. So with this social awareness, in the next coming 10 to 20 years, sorry, not 10 to 20 years, I would say in the next coming 4 or 5 years, I would say that people will have that much knowledge. But for now, we with the operation cost is high, then we should concentrate on the exotic vegetable. I would give this example about mobile phone. Okay, mobile phone, when it was first introduced, it was around, black and white mobile phone was costing around 10 to 15,000. We was even considering how would this technology, how would an old woman use this technology. But people know that it is such an important technology. Mobile phone is very, so people started wearing with the bands in their neck so that the mobile phone wouldn't fall off. But as human being developed, we adopted it. Now you can see that the elderly people also don't have to tie the mobile phone around. So it's all about time frame. We need to keep on awareing people. Everything is going to change because it is very important and it is the future. Is there any other question which I can answer? Will there be any disadvantage if we don't use netcup to lower the cost? The disadvantage is that you have to learn. If you don't learn, if you don't attain that knowledge and wisdom, that is your disadvantage. And also the type of system we are using. So I'm planning to hydroponic and Arunachal. How do one approach for a large scale farm? So I have mentioned you about how to scale up. So you can scale up the farm if you want to go for a big farm directly, then you have to uh, go for a consultancy. So you can go for consultancy services. So if you're interested, you can just text us. Yes, you can cut the cost by locating in colder area. It also depends on the type of plants you want to grow. Colder areas, but here I'm not telling about the areas which are with snow and all, because if there is snow, then you need to have a heating chamber. You need different kind. You need to modify your system. So it will depend on place to place. So more consideration need to be taken about the environmental condition which is prevalent in your area and the place where you want to grow.
Okay, Neeraj, it was a nice presentation and I would like to congratulate you. And I must say that it's a full-on package in urban farming, and everything you have explained that what we want to know, and especially for the participants. And I hope that they must have gained the knowledge about the hydroponic. And I want to know one point here. You have mentioned some of the constraints, some of the limitation restrictions in the hydroponic, but what about the pests and the diseases that we have faced?
As of now, the pests and diseases are mostly focused towards aphids and mites, because one main advantage, I should say, an advantage, because like with urban farming, we are having hydroponic farm, or we are growing vegetables in an area, a populated area where there is less field plants and all. So when there is less plants and grass around, there is less pests and diseases. This thing, the incidence of pest will increase if we have a hydroponic farm in the field area. But having a hydroponic farm in between the cities, between the building, the amount of the pest incidence is a bit lower, I should say. But as of now, we have problems with aphids, mites, flea beetle. So those are some of the problems which we face, and that's it.
Okay, thank you so much. So what you can give advice to the participants that if they want to practice this hydroponic?
To take the risk, not to fear. Every time it's the fear which is limiting us. Everyone can achieve a lot of things in life, but it is fear, and how to overcome fear is something which are not taught in the school and colleges in spite of paying lakhs of rupees. So this is something which you have to learn by yourself, and it is called self-help improvement books. So read a lot of self-help improvement books. If one needs to become successful, then knowledge is the answer. So if it is not provided in the school and colleges, then you have to go for self-help improvement books, podcasts, and all.
Okay, thank you so much, Neeraj. And I will also like to request all the participants, you can follow him in Instagram, and then personally you can contact he have highlighted here in Instagram, and then the contact number also.
Neeraj, I have heard that you are doing some trainings for starting this hydroponics farm. So please kindly share the information to the participants.
Okay, so as of now, the corona pandemic has been affecting our program. So we have been doing the online training program. So before we used to do in group, but these days I find it more feasible, and I find it advantageous for the participant to do individually. So so we do hydroponic training individually for a 3-day, roughly about 3 hours per day, and the price is 1,500. We do it individually because a person, I especially want to give more guidance. If it is in a group, people sometimes they don't share their doubts, they don't share. So right, as of now, I do it individually, and people can also register. You can reach out in WhatsApp or Instagram. For offline training, you can visit our farm, but we'll be opening it after the pandemic cools down. We are also trying to shift to a big commercial farm, maybe in the next 2 months. So I'm sure like I will be able to provide more chance of visiting to more people.
So I hope all the participants have been have cleared their doubts, and then everybody is very much motivated. So I once again from our side, I heartily thank you, Mr. Neeraj Yumnam, for your wonderful presentation. And then I think all the participants, mainly our students, have boosted their mind to start such kind of urban agriculture at home level. Thank you, Neeraj, once again. And then you can, if you please share your PPT if you can, so that we can share to our students. And then the participants, the next session will be at 3 this afternoon. You can this session ends now. You can log out. And then thank you, Neeraj, for your wonderful presentation. I hope to meet you in other bigger platforms in the future. And whenever I'm home, I'm also from Imphal. I'm very much eager to visit your farms, and I might be your trainee if I get time. I'm interested to learn about your farm. Okay, thank you.
Sure, ma'am.
Participants, please join at 8 o'clock. We have another wonderful session growing mushrooms, different types of mushrooms throughout the year in Northeast condition. Thank you, participants.